How do you look at it? Is it you're on the last year of your contract? You said, it's a business. Is this a place you hope is a long-term home? Are you looking at this like a one-year situation, or do you believe there's a chance you guys could get an extension done?
All options are open. Right now, currently just worried about being here, meeting everybody that's in the building today. Contractual stuff, I'm leaving that up to my agent and Joe to figure out. But whatever happens, I'm going to be happy for. I'm going to give my all, no matter what. That's just who I am as a person. So no matter how it goes, how many years, I'm going to be here for however long I'm here for, and I'm going to give the team, the fans, everything.
That was obviously cap. But I digress. Hey, listen, the New York Jets have had a really, really awesome offseason. It was just a matter of time before something was going to go ahead and fall away to where we're going to be in this situation where you're already hearing the SOJ, LOL Jets, etc. Listen, I'm not worried about this. I'm not. And I know a lot of individuals are, but we're going to have a conversation as to why this Haason Reddick situation is really not that big of a deal. All right, let's talk about it.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here we So there you had it. See, one, I want to first say the New York Jets had an incredible freaking preseason, right? We had a preseason game. We've had a great training camp thus far. Things are going really, really good. I'm going to talk about that more in regards on my show tomorrow night. But for now, we're just going to talk about the SOJ currently at hand, the Haason Reddick situation. Personally, call me naive. I don't know what it is, but this is one situation I'm not really stressing. But you just heard the man yourself, right, state that the contract wasn't going to be an issue. He was excited about coming out here to go ahead and show the fans what he was about, be an asset to this team, et cetera, et cetera. And now we're talking about a guy who just requested a trade. I'm telling you right now, I think now, after seeing what I've seen over the last couple of months with this guy, I am on the side where there was a mutual understanding on how this thing was going to play out, and that Reddick right now is backtracking. But that's fine. Listen, the New York Jets defensively have not been a problem the last couple of years. And I understand there's some of you who are in this woe is me thought process that this is a massive deal. Haason Reddick not being here, the defense is going to take a massive step backwards. To me, I kind of find that ridiculous of a statement to make, really. Because, one, he wasn't on the team last year. He wasn't on the team 2 years ago. The Jets were still a top 5 unit. Two, some of you are going to then say, well, we had JFM and we also had freaking Bryce Huff. Question for you. Where did JFM come from? Was JFM some super stud that we wound up trading for or paying big money as a free agent to come be a Jet? Or did he become relevant once he became a Jet? A lot of y'all might not know this, but Jonathan Franklin Myers started off as a Los Angeles Ram. He was a Ram. Bit of an unknown, didn't really get a lot of reps, but he came to the Jets, and over time, because trust me, the first couple of years he was a Jet, this guy wasn't freaking knocking it out of the park. He became a high-quality player. I would say that 2022 season is when he probably took his game to that next level, had the 6 sack season. Not 2021. Either way, either 6 or 5 sacks, 2021 season is when he started to show what he can go ahead and do on this roster. Bryce Huff. Are we forgetting that Bryce Huff was an undrafted free agent before he became a New York Jet? Are we also forgetting that Bryce Huff over the years has only had 1 double-digit freaking sack season, which was last year? Now, I'm with you. I'm definitely team. Had we just paid freaking Bryce Huff, we wouldn't have had to worry about this. I think Bryce Huff was a compliment to this freaking defensive line. I am upset about that. If you want to knock JD for not locking down Bryce Huff, fine. But it seems like, from all indications, Bryce Huff wanted to go ahead and go someplace where he could be a starter. So I don't really know how much you can put that on Joe D, because we have a rotation in play. I think the reason why Bryce Huff is so good is because he's constantly having those fresh legs to go out there and utilize his skill set, being a speed rusher. But again, I digress. Before freaking Bryce Huff had his breakout year last year, we're talking about an individual who I believe the most sacks he's ever had was 2, maybe 3.5. So like he had 10 sacks last year, then the next highest before that was 3.5. Now, follow me here. Here's another reason. There's going to be a couple of reasons why I think this Haason Reddick situation is getting blown out of proportion. Ultimately, first and foremost, I think we can honestly say that the Bryce Huff replacement is on the roster in terms of Will McDonald. Will McDonald last year had 3 sacks, which was the second highest of Bryce Huff's career, and it took him several years in the league to do that. He had 3 sacks. Him getting more reps, I think, is going to correlate into a return on that investment. He's got more bend. He's not as fast when it comes to the get off, but he's lengthier. He's got more bend, which is going to be more disruptive, in my opinion, when it comes to the pass rush. So ultimately, right there, boom, there's your replacement in terms of, we'll go with freaking Bryce Huff being gone. Now, for you JFM guys, did y'all see Watts this weekend? Or Taylor this weekend? I think both of those guys show the potential to go ahead and be the JFM replacement in this roster. And I think we might be able to say they can do it with a bit more of an athletic clip. So for me, in terms of JFM replacement, we probably have it in one of these two guys right now in terms of Watts or Taylor. I believe Will McDonald can be as effective, if not more effective, than freaking Bryce Huff. Now, that comes into play where, oh wow, that means the New York Jets didn't get better, they stayed the same. We're talking about a team that was a top 3 defense in the NFL the last couple of years. Some will say top 5, some will say number 1, but if you round it all out, the average is the Jets were a top 3 unit last year when it came to freaking defense. Okay, got it. Haason Reddick makes this Jets team better. I'm not going to deny that. We know what he brings to the table. We've seen the production over the last 4 years, double-digit sack guy, and I get that, and I understand that, and I respect that. Joe Douglas brought him in here to go ahead and take the Jets defense to the next level. Take it up a notch, right? Adding a little of a bam factor to the recipe that is this Jets defense. Go from a top 3 unit to the number 1 unit. Why not? The opportunity was there. The trade value was there. We gave him a 3rd round pick 2 years from now to bring him on. A $14 million cap hit. The move made so much sense in terms of why you would make that acquisition and bring him on board that you can't sit here and be upset at Joe D for literally trying to make the team better at a position they're already pretty good at. But don't get it twisted. Haason Reddick was the cherry on top. Haason Reddick isn't freaking a necessity, but a luxury. The New York Jets defensive line, I don't believe is going to take this massive step backwards because we lost Huff and because we lost JFM. Would we like to have them in the rotation? I'm not going to argue with you there, yes. But Will McDonald has a 1st round pedigree, who has an elite get-off, and who's also bigger and bendier than a Bryce Huff. He can do what Bryce Huff did. Again, he's already freaking had Bryce Huff's 2nd highest sack total in his 1st year as a New York Jet. So 3. Last year, Bryce Huff had 10. I think if we increase in terms of the snaps that freaking Will's going to get, we can probably see him in that 8 to 10 range. I really believe Will McDonald is the answer to Bryce Huff. One of the other guys has to step up. But at the end of the day, this Jets defense is going to be just fine. I am on team not paying freaking Will McDonald. I'm sorry, not paying freaking Haason Reddick. I don't see the logic behind that. The guy's asking for $25 million. Reports are coming out now that when he was in Philadelphia, they gave him the freedom to go ahead and kind of like gauge the market. Nobody wanted to even come close to even talking to him about that number. Haason Reddick is about to be 30 years old, and he's a guy who's a speed rusher. A speed rusher. Listen, he's one-dimensional in that way. You're talking about a guy who depends purely on his speed to get after the freaking quarterback. Going to be 30 years old. Listen, I know we're seeing Tyreek Hill do some incredible things, but at the end of the day, speed is one of the things that gradually fades away as professional athletes get older. That's just father time. Father time is going to win that argument. Haason Reddick, to be wanting a deal so badly that he would jeopardize not only his character, but already lose out on the millions he's going to lose out on the more he carries this along. I think he's already lost $2.5 million, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to only lose more money when this whole situation's about money. Leads me to believe there's something that the Eagles saw that nobody else did. Maybe they saw the decline already happening in Haason Reddick, and Haason Reddick, knowing this, understands he can't put anything out there on tape now because this is going to be the best chance he has to capitalize on his resume. Not what he can do in the future, but currently on what he has on his resume. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm really finding it odd that somebody who came in saying one thing in regards to how he was excited to be here, that the contract thing would take care of itself, but no matter what, he was going to play and going to be an asset to this team, all of a sudden changing course and now wants to be traded, wants to be paid 25. I don't believe for a moment that Joe Douglas allowed himself to get into this situation without having properly identified whether or not Haason Reddick was going to come here and participate as a New York Jet under the current circumstance. I was 100% on board with giving this guy, guaranteeing his full 14 mil for the year. I was 100% on board with trying to go ahead and find ways to add some incentives for him to go ahead and make more money. I've never been one that says he should have gotten paid for a long-term contract. I don't want that to be his scenario or situation. I would much rather us pay our core group guys in terms of a Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. All of those guys are going to be coming due for contracts really soon. I also think that, Joe D putting out that they are not going to be trading him. Listen, I get it and I understand it and I respect it, but it makes me a little bit uneasy. I would much rather just say, you know what, we'll trade this dude, get that fourth or a fifth back from whatever team is willing to put up with this freaking nonsense. But I think ultimately you're starting to see his value just drop more and more and more. And Joe D taking a stance saying that he's not going to go ahead and negotiate with tantrums, and keeping him on the roster, then so be it. I think I got to respect that because he's not going to be bullied. It seems like at this point, the Jets have taken a stance. They're not going to trade this man. He's either going to show up or he's going to continue to get fined in the fashion in which Joe D made him aware of. Or they're going to trade him. I'm starting to wonder now if it makes sense to allow him to come back into the building and potentially be a cancer. Now there's concerns about that, right? What if he does come back and all of a sudden now he's a cancer to the freaking locker room? Like he's half-assing it, not putting in his best foot forward. And he's starting to become a distraction with what the Jets are trying to accomplish here. Personally, I think that would be naive if you did do that. You're only going to further tarnish your reputation and your character, which further takes you away from the ability of getting that big contract because that's going to get out. But on the other hand, what if he does come out here and then he balls out? Will we let bygones be bygones? Personally, I would. If he's performing on the field and he's performing at a high level, I don't care. Let it be what it is, and then hopefully next season we can go ahead and see you off and go do your thing and get your big contract. I will say this, whoever his agent is has provided him with some really, really bad advice because the Haason Reddick that I think got here in the beginning when he was excited and was willing to go ahead and do what it took to prove himself, worthy of a long-term contract or to be part of the team, I think would have gone a lot further than the guy that's currently doing this and costing himself money every single freaking day. $2.5 million, and it's only going to keep adding up. Listen, ultimately, I am team Will McDonald. I am team next man up. This coaching staff, I think, has earned one thing from us as a fan base, and that's confidence when it comes to the defensive side of the football. We're talking about a coaching staff that took a roster from the 32nd worst defense in the NFL to back-to-back top 5 at worst defense in the NFL. I trust that. I trust that unit. If this was an offensive player that was making an issue, I'd be more concerned. I don't have the same trust and faith and confidence on the offensive side of the football. But on the defense side of the football, there's one thing this freaking coaching staff has already proven to us is that on defense, they kind of got this figured out. So whether it's freaking Bryce Huff, whether it's Watts, whether it's freaking Taylor, I don't care. There's going to be somebody that steps up and shows us something they haven't shown us either before. Ken Law might take his game to a whole other level. You've seen individuals literally come here, elevate their game on this defensive line, and then go off and get the bag. So I feel confident in saying I'm not worried about this defense falling from being a top 3 defense to a top 5 defense. As long as our offense is in that top 15 to top 10 range, our special teams is going to go ahead and stay in that top 5 range. That is a Super Bowl formula. Super Bowl-like team formula, if we're being honest. Top 5 defense, top 10 offense, top 5 special teams, we're still freaking Gucci. The Haason Reddick situation has taken a turn, and yes, the jokes are coming, the same old Jets comments are coming, but Haason Reddick was never a New York Jet. This guy has not taken a single snap for this organization. So yes, Haason Reddick could make the New York Jets the number 1 defense in football. But number 3 to number 1, it sounds cool, but where's the actual impact? This team, this unit, is a top 5 defense with or without him. With him, yeah, we're better. But something tells me we're going to see somebody excel, step up, and go ahead and take their game to another level. We've still got Quinnen Williams on this defensive line, which is an all-pro. You've got freaking JJ, who's a pro bowler with all-pro potential. This defense has the best secondary behind it in terms of Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, and Carter. You've got the best linebacker group behind them. I'm not worried about this defense, and in all actuality, neither should you. If this was an offensive player right now, I got it. I'd be freaking panicking too. But on defense, in the words of Aaron Rodgers, RELAX. Relax. But since we did get some bad news, and I don't want you guys being all upset and Jets fans losing their minds, I think it's Will McDonald season. I think Will McDonald is going to go ahead and put a lot of us at ease. I know he didn't have the greatest showing in the preseason when it came to stopping the run. I get that. But Bryce Huff wasn't that guy either. But again, he's going to be the individual who I think can be an asset in terms of getting after the quarterback with his speed and his bend and his length. He's got more bend and more length than freaking Huff did. He's got speed. I don't know if he's as fast as freaking Huff, but he did have a real fast get off last season too. So on how much of it being freaking Will McDonald season, and to go ahead and just have some good news for New York Jets fans, we're going to go ahead and do a giveaway. There it is. We're going to do a Will McDonald mini autographed helmet giveaway. All you got to do to qualify is be a subscriber to this channel and leave a comment in regards to how you feel about this whole Haason Reddick situation and what you think the defensive line can do to go ahead and get better or stay the same in 2024. You'll be entered into the freaking drawing, and then we'll decide on the drawing on my next live stream. If not tomorrow night, it'll be next Tuesday night. We'll pick the freaking winner live. But again, to enter this, all you gotta do is be a subscriber to the family. Make sure you like the video and comment what you think about this Haason Reddick situation, and you'll be entered to win the autographed Will McDonald mini helmets. We'll do the drawing next Tuesday on the Hangar Hangout. Yeah, that's some good news for you guys. You guys are stressed out about nothing, in my opinion. So, with that said, go Jets. And I'm kind of proud of my GM. Jody not budging to the tantrum being thrown. I don't think Reddick has any freaking leverage, and the Jets do. Jody seems to think the same thing. All right. Till next time.